All right. Good morning, everybody. I wanted to share a quick tour with you. Let me just wait till my video is fully live here. There we go. So we are live, and I'm going to get started with this quick digital library tour and hack. So I know that a lot of us have had to make the switch from online therapy to digital therapy, or if you are doing therapy in person, you've got to figure out how to do it with the mask on and how to make it effective when you are social distancing. So the bad news is that there are some challenges when you're doing either of those things, especially if you've been used to doing in-person therapy, being able to get up, into your students' personal space and model different sounds for them. And if you've got a big library of materials that work best when you're in person, it can be a bit of a challenge, a bit overwhelming right now. But the good news is that the process of coming up with a different way of doing things using some digital resources can actually some good things can come from that, because there are some changes that you can make that number one can diminish the impact of having to do all of those things and make sure that your therapy is still effective. But there are some things that you might come to realize as you're creating digital slides and things like that that will actually be feasible for you, even if you are working on, even if you're using some of these strategies and these materials when you're in person. So even after the pandemic, you'll be able to use some of these things. So I wanted to take you on a quick tour of the Digital Slides Library, which is a brand new section in SLP Learning Academy. SLP Learning Academy is my coaching program for SLPs. It's designed to help you make the most out of your career, to help you be the best clinician that you can be, so that you can be fulfilled in your work. We also focus on all kinds of things in here. There's all kinds of content, and we also have monthly coaching calls. And it's designed to help you to, number one, work through your trickiest cases, and number two, figure out how to get the most out of your career, whether it be figuring out how to do all of those things besides just therapy. So consultation and collaboration with other people, getting clients if you are wanting to start a private practice, or figuring out how to run a business if you do want to learn how to create some additional income streams or start a business, and also just pursue other career options and be a leader in the field. But one of the things that is super important if you're going to do any of those things is figuring out how to create really solid systems for what you're doing in therapy, so that you actually have the bandwidth to think about above and beyond. Obviously, if you're in the weeds, always planning and rummaging through your materials, you're not going to have a lot of time and energy to think about what's next in my career. So that's why I do have some resources here to make those things easier for you. And recently, due to the big switch with teletherapy, I added this digital slides library. So I wanted to just show you what's in here now. And this is always changing because I have requests from members for different things, and so I'm always adding to it. But just recently, in the last couple of weeks, I've added some of these materials here. So what we've got here is I've got some frames for language therapy. Language Therapy Advance is my other premium program, which is a course with just a specific beginning and end with a specific curriculum. And these templates here actually will show you how to take if you are in Language Therapy Advance, will show you how to take what you've learned in there and expand it, and just really solidify those techniques. You don't need to be in Language Therapy Advanced to be able to use some of these, but it certainly helps. So these are the frames and the slide decks for language therapy, for language and literacy. And then I've also got some other protocols. So I just added some protocols for fluency and social pragmatics. And then I am also working on some decks for speech sound disorders. And I'm also looking into creating some resources for individuals who are minimally verbal AAC users and things like that. Actually, on one of our most recent coaching calls, we talked through some techniques that you can use if you are working with AAC users via teletherapy. So that was a really good call. We talked through a bunch of the different things that you can do as far as just logistically helping with cueing and helping with modeling. So with that all being said, I wanted to show you what these look like. And I'm going to actually go into the R sound because I am guessing that if you are a pediatric SLP, you're probably working with a lot of students who have difficulty with the R sound. And if you have recently had to go digital, or if you are in person and figuring out what the heck am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to model sounds and do sound placement when everybody's wearing a mask or not in person? So let me just show you how this looks. So what happens is, so for each of these sections, we've got the slides library, and I've got a whole bunch of pre-made Google slides with sound probes. I started with R because I know that this is probably the one that everybody is working on. I am going to be adding to this over time because right now we've just got RSL. But for all of these decks, there's always a facilitation deck, which it has some instructions for facilitating the sound. And then I've also got all of these different decks here that have different probes. So let me just pick one. I'm going to click on the Prevocalic R deck and show you how that looks and show you some cool things that you can do with a pre-made Google slide deck. So obviously this is the master copy. What I ask members to do is go up here, click make a copy, and then just save this because this is view only. Save it as their own copy on their Google Drive. And you can also download it and make it into a PowerPoint as well. But then you have your copy and you can make all kinds of edits to this. And the cool part about using a Google slide deck instead of actual Artic cards is that you can edit this, and then you can make a whole bunch of different copies of this presentation. So let's say that you have student A and you maybe get through all of these words here, like slides 3 through 9, and you're like, okay, he's pretty good with these. I want to send him home for him to work on. Instead of having to go over to your Xerox machine and make copies of your words and, use all that paper, what you can do is just go here. You could even copy all of these and put it into another document, and then just give your student that link, and there's his homework. And so you can easily take this and just customize it and have a whole bunch of different versions of this document for specific students. Let's say that one student A is working at the word level, and maybe on this, when you have him practice this word, you want to have him maybe do some facilitation on his own and just try to get a really good R sound before he even tries to say the word. And then maybe he just has some instructions like, say word 10 times or something like that. And he's got some specific instructions for this. You can just put that on this slide here. Or let's say that you've got a student who's pretty good doing carryover, and maybe in your therapy session, you come up with a whole bunch of different sentences like, we will run a race down the road on the runway, or something like that. Let's say that you come up with a whole bunch of different sentences. You can just save those in this document and then save it for that particular student. And if you've used this file, make a copy function over here, you can still have your master document with all of these words, and you can even add to your master document. But the important thing is that I've started this for you. I've started this frame for you so that you can customize however you want. Another thing that I have shared with my SLP Learning Academy members is that you can even, if you want some images, you can upload from the computer, search the web, use your drive, and you can use this search the web function and just search for images and put them in here as well. And the cool thing is that you could do that on your own before your sessions, or you could do it within your sessions, and your students can help you do that. And I think a lot of them would really enjoy that as well, as long as you don't get off track. There's all kinds of things you can do here. You could even put a link to a YouTube video in here if you wanted your student to watch it. And something else, I wanted to share one more thing that has come up in the group, some questions, is how do you deal with when you've got students who need help with placement? How do you help them, and how do you model for them when you've got a mask on and you can't take your mask off? So my recommendation is, and I actually have a video in the members area of SLP Learning Academy on how to do this, but what I would recommend doing for that is pre-record yourself saying a bunch of sounds, and have a video of yourself, and then you can play that for your students. So they just have to look at the screen and watch you. You don't have to take off your mask to do that. And the cool part about that is that if you have, let's say that you have a YouTube video of yourself doing a whole bunch of different R facilitation things and really showing your mouth, what you could do is copy and paste that YouTube link in this deck, and you can have your students watch that for homework. So that is a perfect example of something where it's like, all right, it kind of stinks that we have to keep our masks on, but here's a workaround that can help, and something that could potentially even help your students more than just what you do in therapy in person. So another opportunity to actually figure out some things that for the long haul, even if we do go back to all in-person therapy for a lot of our cases and things go back to quote normal, some of these things are strategies that you could continue to use throughout the process. So that's the digital slides library. I'm super excited about it. Let me pop back to my main screen here in the program. There's a whole bunch of different slide decks there, and I'm continuing to add to them. And if you do decide to join us, you are welcome to share your feedback with me and say, hey, Karen, I would really like a resource on whatever it is, and I can put that on the list. So just some quick hacks for you as far as how to navigate this new digital landscape, whatever your situation is. And I would love to have you join us in the SLP Learning Academy. Again, we have, in addition to the digital slides library, there's all different kinds of content that will help you with navigating your career, being a better clinician. We also have monthly coaching calls and a members group to answer questions. So all the information is on the enrollment page. I shared that in the link, or in the description of this post, and I would love to have you join us. So hope this hack was helpful to you, and I would love to see you in the members area. Just click the link and you will be able to find all the information. Thanks so much, everybody.